And not only did we have a winner in the beauty contest, but she went on and became Miss Kansas, and then she became Miss USA, and her name was Debbie Bryant. I don't know if you recall that name or not, but she was a respectable looking lady. Bill Kersten has been in wrestling, announcing, television commentating, making promos for us in Kansas City, and doing anything we did with television. He was mayor of the city of Liberty, which is a pretty big honor, I guess. He was on the Clay County Commission 2 terms. Bill Kersten, out of his own pocket, gave $5,000 to 10 people in the community for advancement of their college education, which I thought was pretty fabulous. More than I'd give, but it was nice of him to do it. A wrestler, Bill Kersten wasn't much of a wrestler. I think there was one match that he was in, and I was unfortunate, not unfortunate, I was fortunate enough to have him for a partner against a team of Harley Race and Percival A. Friend. And I don't know whether it was a mismatch or a good match or a bad match, but the thing I do know, it drew very good at the box office, but I don't think that I would select Bill Kersten for my partner again. And at this time, I would like to say, please give a hand to my good friend, Bill Kersten.
I've been around a long time thinking about wrestling, having a great time, and I'd be able to have someone introduce me who's your best friend you've ever had in your life. That's great. And then tonight, to be able to receive an award from Charlie, behalf of her husband, another deep, deep, deep honor that you can never return and say, this is going to be anything better. There's no better in life than receive the awards from Bob and Charlie. My first champion in professional wrestling was Orville Brown. That was back in 1940, 41, 42. That I went to wrestling match with my dad. Sat in the second row of the nosebleed section and be able to watch the exploits of Orville Brown. Along came after that, not very long after that, was Lou Thesz. And I still remember Lou jumping over the top rope into the ring, light as a feather. You couldn't feel the ring move at all. I've been able to be with all the world champions, back with Orville Brown and Lou, and Dick Hutton, and Vern, and Dory Jr., and Harley, and Pat O'Connor, and Keninsky, and Lee Henning. What a lineup that I can say I worked to try to make their presentation in the wrestling ring better. Way before television, folks. That's way before television. I've had the opportunity to work with gorgeous George Wagner. What a showman he was. And Andre the Giant. And I have to tell you this story about Andre. Andre was riding back with me from Salina, Kansas, coming to Kansas City. And a couple of kids in the cars next to us followed us ahead and down back, dropping back, and pulled ahead and dropping back. We're having a good time. And so Andre says, "Mr. Bill?" I said, "Yes, Andre." He says, "Pull alongside that car." I'm sure. What am I going to say to Andre? I pulled alongside of him, and he pushed the window down, and he pushed the other window down, and he reached over and faces me and he mooned that crowd in that car big time. I imagine if you've ever seen a full moon, they've seen one now. Really awesome. It was great. I remember Gorgeous George. When Gorgeous George was strutting in the ring and he'd given a guy a real hard time in the second row of ringside. This guy was blasting him, giving the old knuckles up and everything like that. And Andre says, the Gorgeous George says to him, he says, I pretty well look silly up here, don't I? And the guy that was really waiting for that said, yeah, you look sillier than anything I've ever seen. And Gorgeous George's response was, you should feel silly. You paid to see me, buddy. I remember the names of Bill Kersten. One of the better people I've ever introduced was the very flowery name of Antonino Ricca! And then the governor of Minnesota. Very, very close friend, a good guy. I introduced him as Jesse the Body Ventura until he got elected. Now I emailed him and said, Mr. Gov, what you need to do as soon as you're sworn in, you need to let me introduce you the way you should be introduced. You be not the body, you would be the governing body, Jesse Ventura. I've been to the families I've had a great time working with, the Dusick, Ernie Evil, Ernie, Joe, Rudy, the Gerbaldis, the Oates brothers, Orton Sr. and Jr., DiBiase family. What a lineup, what a crew to say that. I've tried to do something to make them have better in life. We've got the Indians with Chihuahua, Don Eagle, Danny Little Bear. Football players with Hogan Wharton and Ernie the Cat Lad. I could go on for a long time, but with the brevity that we're trying to present here today, we'll go save the rest of it for tonight. You know, it's funny because the fact when I grew up to be 30 and they're 35 and 40 and 45 and been with wrestling for several years, a lot of my friends chided me because of the fact that, you were working with wrestling. What are you kidding me? What are you working with wrestling? Well, I tell you what, now they're jealous of me. Thank you very much for the opportunity.